The new James Wan movie Malignant just came out, and everyone's talking about it, especially Cucks and Gamers, I mean Geeks and Gamers, and they had the absolute worst take, so I wanted to talk to you guys about it, and I also wanted to plug my slasher book, The Christmas Morning Massacre. Check it out on Amazon and Kindle down below in the description. Anyways, I guess I gotta get this out the way. Yada yada yada, it's absolutely fine if they don't like a movie. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. I just thought theirs was kind of stupid. I watched like half of this video and I couldn't stop laughing at it. They just had the worst takes. So I guess I'll give you guys like my sort of thoughts on Malignant right now before I actually begin watching their video and laughing at it with you guys and whatnot. And there of course are going to be spoilers in this video, so you've all been warned if you care about spoilers or whatever. But Malignant, thought it was a solid movie. I thought it was a good story. I think there were a few things that could have been better. I think the characters kind of felt flat, but hey, I don't go into these things expecting necessarily characters that are as good as, say, the characters in The Exorcist or Rosemary's Baby or some other movie that's a classic with these really deep characters that all feel real, feel alive, in fact. And I wasn't quite expecting characters like that, but that's just one of my critiques anyways of this movie, where the characters kind of felt flat, so it was hard to, you know, feel emotionally for them. But at the end of the day, I thought it was a good story with a good twist. It was sort of a doppelganger movie, and more spoilers to follow if you still haven't clicked out. I mean, you've been warned, but so we all know in doppelganger movies, or movies particularly where there's twins, where it turns out it's the same person the whole time, you know? Well, typically that's how it is. I know there's a few different sort of twists that they do with the movie with twins or whatever, but in this movie, this chick had a twin that sort of like it in the womb, I guess, merged into her brain or something, so it's in like the back of her head. So when people die, she's always for some reason able to have like a vision of it. She could see it happening, when really it's her twin brother that's in like the back of her head, where he like sort of like separates and you can see his bloody face, but you don't really know that till the end. So he's going around killing people, and she's like, why can I always see this? And so her vision's like, it turns out she was there, that's why she saw it. So it kind of leads you in like one direction, like you think it might be this one thing, but then it's something completely different. And I thought that was a good twist. I thought it was pretty clever. I think it was a well-directed movie. My complaints were small, and it was basically just, I think some of the characters and stuff could have been better. There's one part with the main chick, I should know her name, I think it's Madison or something. I should know this because I just watched it last night. But the main chick, she's on the phone, right, with her twin brother, Gabriel. You know, she doesn't know the voices coming from the back of her head. She's hearing it in her head, rather, you know. She thinks he's actually on the phone with her, and he's like, you know, I've killed everyone, I'll kill again, blah, 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 that sort of thing. And later when she's with her sister, and she's adopted too, that's a whole big plot point, is this main chick, she's adopted, blah, blah, blah. There's, you know, some points about that. But when she's driving with her sister, she's like, oh, well, he was talking to me on the phone. I just remembered his name's Gabriel. And so that was kind of like, I don't know. I just felt like there could have been a more interesting way for her to realize like the name of who this guy was. And she's like, oh, I must have heard him before. And then it turns out like they watched some VHS tape from like the 90s, and she's having a birthday party and blah, blah. And she's talking to her quote unquote imaginary friend, Gabriel, and blah, blah, blah. And it's something from her childhood. So in that regard, I understand how she just heard the voice and remembered his name. I just think that could have been better. I thought the characters were a little flat, but at the same time, I like the movie. It's rewatchable. It's probably something I'll pick up on Blu-ray if they put it out. I think the movie's about a 7 out of 10. You know, it's a good movie. I wasn't blown away, you know, but I still really liked it. And these guys, the thing about Geeks and Gamers, and sorry to give such a long-winded rant, you guys, before I start playing their video and laughing at them, but the thing about a channel like this is they kind of got all their views from saying something was bad, like The Last Jedi, which, trust me, I hate that movie, you know. But when you sort of get on that, you know, when that's kind of the identity of your channel, and you just gotta call everything bad, you really just call everything bad even when it's not bad, and you're looking for things to hate. And I just feel with this video here, they're being too nitpicky. They're never quite specific on what they hate. They just say, oh, the dialogue was cringy. Well, I think cringy dialogue is the last thing you might hate a movie for. you know, if they didn't like the plot or something, or there was legit something that was bad about the movie, I mean, they could have said that. I mean, I think typically when it comes down to not liking a movie, you might not like it because it's boring. And the last thing this movie was boring. There's always something happening. But let me play this, and we'll take a laugh at these guys.
What's up, Geeks and Gamers? Mike and I are back once again with another movie review. And today we're going to be talking about Malignant, James Wan's new movie, which just hit theaters today. And I just want to get this right off my chest because this is pretty much my reaction to the entire movie. And then we'll go from there. What the actual F did I just watch? Mike, I'm going to hand it over to you now. What did you think about Malignant?
What the actual F is that movie, bro? Listen, the credits rolled and I sat there for like a good 30 seconds and I just looked at Josiah. I was like, what did I just watch?
These guys are so cringy. Like, what the actual F was that movie, bro? You know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of this meme. I was too lazy to download it and put it in and edit it into the video, so I just pulled up in another tab rather. This "How do you do, fellow kids" meme. Like, that is these guys. Like, what the actual F, bro?
Yeah.
Like,
I was kind of shell shocked. I was like,
yeah, dude. I didn't watch any trailers. I had no idea what this movie was.
Mm-hmm.
I knew it was James Wan. I knew it was supposed to be a horror movie. Dude, from the very beginning, the movie starts out as a super stereotypical, super like obvious, like very tropey horror movie. And I was like, okay. And then like literally the next scene after the opening, the house, you can see the smoke that they put into the house. You can tell that there's going to be jump scares. There's constant music cuts, everything. You
see, they say there's like constant jump scares. There's really hardly ever a jump scare. Like, it's not one of those movies that its whole identity is the jump scare. And you can't complain about jump scares. There have always been jump scares in horror movies. I mean, I'm not going to pull up the examples, but even in silent films, there were things that could have been considered jump scares. And in the earliest horror movies, there were still jump scares. In beloved horror movies, there are jump scares. So these guys are like, oh, it's just jump scares. Like, I wonder if they even watched the movie. Like, these guys strike me as people that they'll put a movie on in the background while they chill on their phone on Twitter or something. Like, the stuff they say in this movie, I wonder if they actually sat down and watched it and paid attention.
Time. I mean, it's so tropey, and the acting is so bad.
So
the acting is
bad.
Like B movie. Like, we had $100 to go between like 80 people, and we just spread the budget. Like, it's bad.
The dialogue was awful.
The dialogue is terrible.
Like some of the worst dialogue I've seen this year.
I gotta give a credit to all the actors. Nobody feels like they're not trying. Everybody feels like they're giving it their best. Listen, the lead actress, I don't remember her name right now, but the lead actress committed to this. She was in it. She believes what's happening. She's giving it her all. In this movie...
Well, that sounds to me like a good actress. I don't know what they're complaining about with the acting. Look, the acting, I mean, it's not like it was God tier, but it wasn't bad. I think that was the farthest thing it was bad. It wasn't bad acting. Like, that's the thing about this movie. They keep saying this is bad, that was bad. Like, it's really not a bad movie. So I don't get like what this kind of critique is. Like, if you want to say a movie's bad, is the first thing you're gonna start out with is the dialogue was cringy or the acting was bad, but at least they were trying? Like that I think that's kind of the last thing that might make a movie particularly bad.
Does not go from 0 to 60 in 100. In 0 to 60 in like a second. This movie goes from like 0 to 60 to 1,000 over the course of almost 2 hours. I
have no clue what he just said.
There's a twist in this movie. It's one twist. Mm-hmm. And if you know the name of the movie, you'll see it coming. Because you'll remember, oh, wait a minute, the name of this movie is Malignant. And you'll be like, no.
See, this is what I don't understand. And also, I hate this dude's voice. He's like, no, I hate this dude's voice. But you see, they're like, oh, the title of the movie, it makes it obvious. Everyone I've talked to that watched this movie, it wasn't obvious to them. It wasn't even obvious to me. And these guys want to talk like the name gives it away. I mean, the word malignant has more than one meaning. And I think the first meaning that comes up when you Google it is spiteful. It doesn't even have anything to do with like diseases or anything. Like that might be like the second or third definition you'll find, but at the same time that doesn't spoil the movie. That's like the last thing in the back of your mind is this chick might have her twin living in her head, and it's actually her body when you see the evil twin, you know, going around killing people, and you don't even know it's her twin till later on. And like that's like the last twist everybody would see coming. Like, you know, all my friends were like, "Oh, there's a twist. I wonder if you'll see it coming." So like I tried to think of different twists, and I mean, I didn't get it like that. I thought, you know, what if it's her sister is actually the killer? I thought that. I was like, you know, it's got to be something. Because typically a twist, you know, is in a movie, it's like something that is suggested at like the start of the movie, and then people are like, no, it can't be that, and then it becomes that. So like early on when the two cops are like, oh, her sister has a motive, and then you kind of forget about that for a little bit, and then I was like, I wonder if that's it. You know, I mean, we all knew it had something to do with the beginning of the movie. It takes, I forgot what year it starts with a little flashback in, and then it cuts to modern day, and I mean, we all know it had to do with that, but I mean, to see this twist coming, okay, I believe somebody could have seen the twist coming, but these are the last people, okay, that I think would have seen the twist coming.
Oh, and then they do it, and when they do this twist, it is not an M. Night Shyamalan twist. They don't try to be clever about it.
Yeah.
They literally tell you what's happening, and the movie loses its ever-loving freaking mind. This movie literally has one of the craziest set pieces I've ever seen in a jail. Listen, the cinematography is solid. The music is okay at times, but like, dude, this music, like, sometimes it has like 80s horror vibes, and then other times has like this
just
like
all over the place,
orchestra swelling thing.
So all over the place.
It's a mess. The monster in this movie is something I've never seen.
Does any of what they're saying sound like somebody that actually watched the movie and paid attention to it, and now they're reviewing it on a channel with 307,000 subs? Like, so far we're 3 minutes in, and their review is, the dialogue was bad, the music, give us a little analysis here. Tell us about the characters, the story, the plot, the themes. Did you guys understand any themes? Have you guys ever thought about what a theme even means? Have you guys thought about the meaning behind this movie, why it might have been made, what conclusions you could draw from it? Did you guys catch any of that? Did you watch it? I don't know if they watched this movie.
In a movie before,
dude, absolutely wild.
Wild.
The weird thing about this movie is that it feels like one of the laziest made good movies I've ever seen. Yes. Like it felt so freaking sloppy, but at the same time, it felt like it was like a B movie wrapped in an A movie. It was super weird, and it, like, the entire time I was watching this movie, I just was so conflicted with how I felt about it. The entire time I was confused, I was like bewildered, I was amused, I was just all over the place, and I didn't know exactly what I was supposed to think about what was going on throughout this entire thing. It was one of the weirdest WTF movies, and I've seen a lot of crazy movies, like Midsummer, The Lighthouse, all of these crazy movies, and this movie might just take the cake as the biggest WTF movie that I've seen so far. It's like it felt like James Wan was intentionally trying to make like a bad movie.
Yes,
but how?
Absolutely did.
Yeah,
that doesn't make sense.
Did James Wan just fall off? Like, did he just forget how to make a good movie? He didn't. Because I'm gonna be honest, I know Josiah was confused, and I could see it on his face.
Yeah.
About like, if I broke this movie up in like quarters, about like just before the halfway mark of the movie, I started laughing.
You mean the second act?
Yeah. I figured it. I was like, no, this has got to be a joke. And I kept laughing because I was like, it's got to be a joke.
Yeah.
And then,
but what part is a joke? Look, we're 5 minutes into this thing, and they haven't said one thing about the movie. I don't even know if we watched the same movie. You could take what they're saying and apply it to several different movies. Like, they've said nothing like unique that applies to this movie. Like they've said nothing about the movie Malignant. You could retitle this video and you could put any movie here and say movie review, what the actual F. Put any movie here instead of Malignant. And it's like they're complaining. You could fit this complaint into any movie. Cringe dialogue, I didn't like the music. Tell us what you didn't like about the movie itself. Like, you could say you didn't like the music or dialogue about any movie. Talk about this actual movie. Did you even watch it?
We literally, it never tongue in cheek. It commits to the plot. It takes it all very seriously, but it has to be a joke. There's no way this movie was not set up.
But what comes off as a joke?
I can't even tell you guys. The twist in this movie is so bizarre. It makes no sense. And then the movie just steps on the gas. And you're like, wait a minute. And you're like, no. That wasn't. You're like, I thought our exit was over there. And you're like, no, buddy. We've got a lot more road to go. And it does. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, there are superpowers in this movie.
Yeah.
There's like gore in this movie.
There's pretty much
there's gore in a movie. That's his review. This dude, he's like, there's gore in this movie. What kind of review is this? And who are the 1,300 of you that gave this thing a thumbs up?
Horror cliche you've ever seen.
Every horror cliche, every horror trope that you can think of is in this movie. But you know what it doesn't do? At the very end of the movie, it literally just ignores all of it. And then, like,
what was ignored? Are they ever going to go into detail? I can't follow them. Like, they're laughing here like they understand each other. What was ignored? I don't understand.
And on like a sentimental, sweet thing, and you don't even go, like, you can't go, you didn't earn that. You can't go, wait a minute, what was that? You just go, you know what, man? Just have it. Like, just take it. I can't do this anymore. I don't even know what's happening anymore. Like, it ignores everything. Like,
dude,
this movie is bananas. I just don't want to spoil it.
Yeah, it's actually really hard to talk about because of just how pivotal the twist is in the movie and stuff.
Yeah. And like I said, some of you guys will see it coming a mile away.
Yeah.
But you won't see it coming when it happens because the way it happens is
it's so bizarre and
it's so weird. Yeah. It's so nuts. I'm gonna say right now, of all the horror movies I've seen, of all the movies I've seen this year, I haven't laughed as hard as I did at this movie.
At what? What made you laugh?
I was losing it, and then it was like about 3/4 of the way through the movie, everybody else in the theater started laughing, and then we just couldn't stop.
No, dude.
Dude, everybody just started losing it because we're like, oh my god, dude, what is happening?
Yeah.
Dude, there is a straight up, I'm like, this is kind of a spoiler, but not really a spoiler, so whatever. There's literally a kung fu, gun fu, bullet dodging fight in this movie that comes out of nowhere.
And it was great. How was that funny? That was a great scene.
It is actually executed surprisingly well.
Yeah.
It's not crappy. It's not jump cutty. It's better than a lot of other scenes that are trying to do this correctly.
Yeah.
But it's in a horror movie.
Well, that's what I meant. Like, technically speaking, from a technical standpoint, this movie is great.
Yeah.
But like the plot, the story, the dialogue, the acting, all those different things are just weird. And it's just like I don't know. Somehow I mean, the funny thing about that is that if you actually know kind of what the twist of this movie is, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah,
it kind of makes sense that because I was about to say this movie basically takes.
This is the most like big-brained like movie review I've ever seen.
Two completely different styles of movies and just kind of smashes them together.
Yeah,
it makes sense with the whole point of the movie. So when you guys see it, I think you'll understand what we're talking about. Where basically, like, literally taking two different types of movies, smashing them together, completely goes with the twist in this movie.
Yeah. It's like a blend of Jeepers Creepers, like the original Jeepers Creepers, meets oh, I don't know, something like
The Ring or something.
yeah,
or-
like The Ring. Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that. Like it feels like it's supposed to be
That's
this
what?
deep psychological scary horror movie, but then it also does this like slasher flick at the same time, and it commits to both.
Yeah.
I'm speechless. I can't even explain to you how stupid this analysis is.
Completely.
Yeah.
Like
Completely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So before we keep going off the rails, because this movie already is off the rails.
Yeah.
Please go see this movie. If you are a diehard theater person and you're like, I won't watch HBO Max, or I don't have it, or it's not worth it, or I want to support my local theater, you will have a good time going to see this movie because it is so stupidly ridiculous.
Mhm. Yeah.
Do not go into
Absolutely.
it. It's not scary. You're not going into this expecting a horror flick. It is literally a batshit crazy movie that is committing to its batshit crazy performance and treating itself like a horror movie.
Yeah.
If you're not, and you're like, I don't want to waste my money, I don't want to waste my time, if you have HBO Max, go watch it on HBO Max. It is worth a watch. You're going to have a good time.
Yeah.
Listen, if you drink, if you smoke, go smoke and drink before this movie because you're going to have a blast.
Yeah.
Like,
For real.
Literally, I don't drink, I don't smoke. I still had a blast. I can only imagine if I was high or I was drunk or I was both, that I was going to even have a greater time at this movie. But seriously, guys, like, go watch this because I want a sequel to this movie so badly. I want James Wan to keep going.
Could have
with
fooled
this
me.
Concept.
Mhm.
It's so
I mean,
weird.
he weirdly enough leaves it open for a sequel, and
Yeah.
I'm just like, bring it on. Let's just do it.
Dude,
Let's just.
that's exactly it. You resign yourself to it because the way they set up for a sequel is so stupid. You're like, how would you do a sequel? And they're like, they literally tell you like, they're like, hey, this isn't over, and then the main character is like, I know. And you're like, what do you mean it's not over? Like, this is the first time I listen. I grade movies A to F. As a horror movie, F. Movie trash. If I came into this movie expecting to be scared, F. You lose. Good day, sir. But as a movie going experience, did I have a good time? Did I enjoy myself? Did I laugh repeatedly? Yeah. So I give it a B plus.
That's so funny because I'm gonna give it a B plus as well because
That's such a high grade for a movie that I'm pretty sure they didn't even watch. Like, it's like they were scrolling Twitter while they played it in the background.
I mean, I don't know what else to say about it. We pretty much
You don't know what else to say about it. You didn't say anything about it. You could put any movie right here and apply this criticism to it, and nobody would tell that you watched Malignant. I could download this video and upload it and say that this is a review of Harry Potter, and it would fit because you guys didn't actually review the movie.
And it's
I have one last thing to say.
yeah.
What the literal fuck happened in this movie? I gotta hear. You guys need to go see this because I gotta see what your thoughts are. I gotta hear you guys' thoughts. Like, I gotta know. Write them in the comments. Tell us what you thought about this movie because I can't be alone in thinking that this thing is like this weird outlier of fun and bad at the same time.
I mean, like you mentioned, in the theater that we were in, pretty much everyone was kind of, you could tell that they were kind of going through the same journey that we were. At first, they were like, what?
What was it, a theater of stupid people?
Going on? Like, what? And then as the movie progressed, people just started to laugh more and more and more. And by the end of the movie, everyone was like, what the fuck?
Like, nobody stuck around. The movie was done. Nobody stuck around and were like sitting in their chairs. They just got up and left. They're just like, okay.
They just got up and left. Isn't that what you do when the movie's over?
So yeah, I agree. Definitely go see this movie. It is an experience. It is a trip, and I think it's well worth the watch. So we hope that you enjoyed this review for Malignant, and we will catch you in the next one very
Okay, so that was a very awful review, and I think we're all stupider for having watched them. But anyways, you guys can get my books on Amazon and Kindle down below in the description. I got 10 books on Amazon and Kindle, including my new book, The Christmas Morning Massacre, and it's 4 sequels. The Christmas Morning Massacre is about these girls that are snowed into a mansion with a killer on the loose. If you guys like fun 80s horror movies, fun 80s slasher movies, you guys will love these books, so check them out, guys, and I hope you all have a great day. Peace.